Hi guys, welcome to Safe Diving. So in today's video I'm going to be going over my scuba diving setup again, but I'm actually showing it on me so that you guys can see. Basically I've got a lot of sort of questions and comments asking for you guys to actually sort of see and for me to show you guys how I actually sort of wear my twin set rig, how my hoses goes. So that's what I'm going to do. Now this video is going to be primarily all of the external things. I'm going to save what actually goes in my thigh pockets for a separate video because I can do an entire video just on how I do my thigh pockets. But yeah, so I've got my base layer underneath this. I've got my sort of close-up camera that's just going to show off exactly how well my quarantine diet has been going so far. And yeah, I'm going to sort of pop my dry suit on, then I'm going to get my backplate harness and wing section on, throw it all sort of ready and as if I'm about to jump in the water, but minus like the hood and mask and everything. And yeah, and then I'm going to go through all the different bits and bobs and sort of where and why I sort of put all of my different hoses and all the little accessories that I go diving with. So yeah, let me get dressed and I'll see you in a second. Okay guys, so I'm pretty well set up. Obviously I don't have my hood and masks because I need to communicate. I chose not to put my gloves on either so that you guys can actually see my hands. But yeah, this is pretty much it. Now I haven't got my twin tanks on because they are ridiculously heavy, and if I'm going to be carrying them, it's really not worth it. But you can still see how all of my stuff is set up. So basically I'm going to start from the top, work my way down my left side, and then I'm going to do the same on the right hand side. So over my left hand shoulder I've got my inflator. So the inflator hose sort of stays nice and close to me because I've got this little bungee loop that just sort of holds it there over my shoulder, and I don't need a great long hose that goes all the way down because all I'm ever going to do is just inflate it a little bit or lift it up to sort of dump some gas. So that's exactly where I need it to be. Moving down from that, I've got my first D-ring, and that's on my my left shoulder strap. It's pre-bent, so it kind of lifts away from the strap, makes it a little bit easier to clip off onto. And this is where I'm going to be clipping off any stage cylinders, so I can clip stuff onto that. What's always sort of clipped off onto it is my backup torch. So this is a little Simply Scuba Mark 1 dive torch, little 1000 lumen sort of rechargeable light, and as you can see, it's got this little sort of elasticated section here, which basically stops it from flapping around. So it's exactly where I want it to. It's not dangling around, but it's nice and close to my body. Moving down from that, I'll have my inflator hose to my dry suit. If I move these out of the way, so that goes underneath my left arm and then just feeds straight into my my dry suit feed, and then you push on that little button and that's how you're going to inflate my dry suit if I need to. And then underneath that, clipped off onto the only straight D-ring, the one on my waistband, this is my my SPG. So right now, obviously, it's not pressurized, so normally it's a bit more rigid than it is right now, but by attaching a bolt snap onto that, it gives me something really positive to grab hold of. I can then check my gauges and then just sort of clip them straight off exactly where I know they're going to be. And this D-ring sits right down the very sort of edge of my body, so I know exactly where that D-ring is at all times. The only other things are I've got my shoulder dump on my left hand shoulder, and the way I usually dive with this is I'll dial it all the way open and then probably about one turn back, just so it's not ridiculous, but I do want sort of any expanding gas to escape as I'm ascending. So I do have that quite light. I don't open it all the way because then I just end up with a wet shoulder, but that one turn just definitely seems to sort of work for me. But whatever works for you is great. On my left hand side I have a compass, just so that I know exactly which direction I'm going in, and I always keep that on a separate arm to my dive computer, just because the kind of the metals and the batteries and all that kind of electrical current, they can sort of interfere with compasses, so I just like to have it away from everything so that yeah, I know it's giving me a true reading. And that's pretty it for my left side. Starting on my sort of right hand side, So nothing's clipped off onto my sort of right hand D-ring. That's kind of free for any accessories that I might have. I just need to clip it off there quickly. It's kind of right there so that even if my eyes are closed, I know exactly where that D-ring is going to be, so it's very intuitive and natural to be able to clip it off onto that. And then we get onto my, my second stages. So the first one, which is my alternate, so this I put on first because this is going to go sort of underneath my primary, the one that I actually breathe from. This is in case of emergency, so this sits on a necklace that just goes around my neck, and that's exactly where I need it to be just in case of emergency. Then for my primary, so this one sort of comes on a really long hose, and this is a long hose primary donate setup. So how it is we've got this little elbow, and that goes to the hose that goes around behind my neck, and then as you can see it goes down kind of across my body, it tucks in underneath my dive knife and then loops back up again. So that way, when I'm diving, it's like this. If my buddy needs to breathe from it, if they have something wrong, all I have to do is that, and they already have plenty of room to be able to sort of breathe from it, but then by unhooking it from underneath my knife, they have even more space, so they have so much room to be able to sort themselves out. So that's my sort of breathing arrangement. Also on my right hand side I have my dive computer, so this is my Shearwater Perdix. I have it a little bit up from my forearm because of these sort of rigid rings, just means that I can sort of get to the buttons really easily. And then I have my, my dive torch, so this is an Exposure Marine, and it's just nice and powerful. It comes with this sort of Goodman style handle, and yeah, it's just really neat and tidy, and really intuitive to use. I always sort of attach a little bolt snap so I can click it off onto things if I do need to use both hands really properly. Moving further down, so then we have my sort of waistband arrangement. So I've got two buckles, as you can see. The one at the top, this is the one for my, my BCD, and then on that I have my dive knife. So that just drops down a little bit from that, and that becomes a sort of a snag point for this hose, just so it sort of keeps neat and tidy. But if I still need to use that knife, it's quick and easy to get it out. And then underneath that, I have a second sort of belt. This is my weight belt. This goes underneath everything because the only real reason that I'm going to need to sort of ditch any lead is in an emergency, and unless I'm incapacitated, okay, you have to undo two belts, or you have to sort of cut through that crotch strap, but realistically you're going to be able to sort of ditch that lead if you really need to. If you sense that something bad is coming, then you have to prepare yourself, but having it over everything else is just something extra, and it's just going to be a little bit too much to sort of handle. So I always put that on first, so it's nice and close to my body, and it's just nice out of the way. Now everything else tend to go in my thigh pockets, which I'll talk about in a different video, because there's lots of different ways that you can arrange your pockets, and I do it in my own way. But yeah, also not to take up too much of your time, this video is going to be more about the sort of hose routing, and hopefully that's explained it fairly well for you. But yeah, that's kind of it. I've got my my sort of crotch strap D-ring on the front, and then I've got another one down in the small of my back, and that's it. I see too many BCDs with just so many D-rings over the shoulders and D-rings all over the place. They're just extra bits to sort of snag on things, whereas with these 3D rings, that's kind of all I really need, and that sort of manages most of my diving. The only other thing that I need is my thigh pockets, and that's why I don't need quite so many D-rings. Okay guys, so yeah, hopefully that helped you kind of understand my own sort of personal take on a long hose primary donate setup. I tried to make it not too sort of black on black so you could actually see what was going on. But yeah, that's how I dive. I tend to prefer that sort of long 2 meter long hose, and yeah, it works for me. It's as kind of stripped down as possible. Most of my stuff is kind of stowed away in pockets, so it's not dangling around and getting all over the place. But yeah, if you want me to show you anything a bit more clearer, just put it on like a white t-shirt or something, then yeah, just ask, I'll do another video. But hopefully this will help you guys out sort of learning just how everything goes in a sort of twin style setup. And yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to do a video on sort of what I keep in my thigh pockets and where I kind of keep it and why I keep it where it is. So stay tuned for that one. If you enjoyed this video, then of course please like and subscribe to my channel, because that really does make a big difference from my life. Yeah, thank you for watching, and of course, safe diving.